Get social with us. Follow us on Instagram at Goodtaste TV. Hi, everyone. Welcome to a very special episode of Good Taste for the Soul. Special because we are in an absolutely beautiful place. This is the Cibolo Nature Center out in Boerne, and birders know very well this is an important time of year. This is migration season, and all of us in Texas live in a very important region for that to happen. You can see all kinds of birds you wouldn't normally see. Now, if you're thinking, I'm not into birding, give us a chance. Wait till you see and hear from my next guest. I'm so excited to introduce you guys to Ryan Anderson, who I have had the pleasure of working with as a producer for a number of years now on our TV show, Good Taste with Tangi. Almost got the names mixed up. Podcast, Good Taste for the Soul. TV, Good Taste with Tangi. In any event, Ryan has kind of gotten into birding, and I feel like his journey has been kind of as we have been producing the show, because it's always the talk, the chat time on our downtime. And so, Ryan, welcome. This is exciting.
Thank you very much.
To get to talk to you on this side of the camera.
I know, it's weird.
No, it's like, welcome to my world.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's a different place to be. We're in a great spot. You have gotten into birding, and I think there are some stereotypes around the topic of birding, because a lot of people think, oh, it's just something that, you know, retired folks do, and that is absolutely not the case, right?
Yeah.
You're a case in point.
Yeah, there's definitely the stereotype of like the retirees are definitely people of a certain age getting into bird watching.
Not that there's anything wrong with a certain age.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
But I've seen, I think definitely with the pandemic, a lot more younger people started birding. Not myself at that point yet, but from what I've heard, people were looking for ways to get outside, and it's also a very relaxing thing, which I think people needed.
It is so relaxing. Yeah. How did you get interested in it? It's relatively new.
I've been doing this less than 3 years, seriously, I guess. But it started actually with a trip to the beach, and staying in a condo there for a vacation where they had a pair of binoculars and a bird guide right there in the room, and just taking that out and looking at birds more closely through the binoculars got me interested, and that's what led me to get my own binoculars. And then I started looking out my window in my backyard, and just it kind of opened up a new world for me.
Well, and it's been a fun journey to be on and with you in a sense, because since then you've started an Instagram feed.
That's right. Yeah.
And I have to tell everybody, I love your feed. Tell everyone how you got the feed started.
So it was on a shoot for Good Taste with Tangi when everyone, yourself included, convinced me to go ahead and start publicly sharing these photos that I was taking, just to be able to share them with the world. And
so I can say one day, I knew Ryan when.
That's right. And basically you've been my agent. Gotten me out.
I'm your biggest promoter. I think your work is amazing. I really do. And because of what you do, it's gotten me more interested in it. I've kind of fallen in love with nature in the last few years. And I do think you're right. I think it was COVID, kind of shut things down to an extent. And we start paying more attention to, the world around us and looking up. And I think when you start looking at the world around us, you can't help but think there is a creator. This is a pretty amazing world we live in. And I'm kind of learning a lot about birding through you. So there are some things that are important to know. The south part of Texas, this is a very important region for birding.
Yeah, very much so. There's a lot of people around the country that come to this area specifically for birding, and so it's one of those things where if you've grown up here, if you've lived here, you might not know that you're in a special place here. Like Texas and then Mexico kind of funnels birds down,
right,
and then back up for migration, and so you get a lot of interesting birds during migration times like now. And then just South Texas, especially around the valley, has a lot of birds that you can only find here in Texas.
Well, and don't discount your own backyard.
Right, yeah, absolutely. And that was the big thing for me getting started, I think, getting the binoculars out. I think before you start paying attention, there's 3 types of birds. There's small birds, medium birds and big birds. So you have your
easy.
sparrows or your small birds.
Yeah.
You have like cardinals, people are familiar with them, and blue jays a lot of times, grackles.
Yeah, we all know
and-
grackles.
Yeah, and then people know hawks and vultures, and that's kind of the birds out there until you start taking a closer look,
Yeah.
even in your backyard, and you see, like for me, black-crested titmouse.
Yeah.
Noticing that in my backyard was when I realized, like, oh, there's like these are cool birds
They're
that I've
very
never heard of
cool.
in my life, but they've been around us this whole time.
I
Yeah.
never knew that, and that's another thing. That's one I just discovered in the course of this process too, in the last few years. And to me, those birds have an incredible sense of curiosity,
Yes.
and they're the one bird I notice when I'm sitting outside very close to my bird feeder. That's the one that will come on in, you know, and not be too afraid.
No.
And when you start watching them, what I just find fascinating, they're looking, they're curious, they're paying attention.
Yeah. No, they. You almost see the gears turning
Yes.
when you watch them.
Yes.
And it's fun to see. Yeah, that curiosity you mentioned.
Yeah.
And just like always trying to figure things out. It seems like, and
Well,
it's fun to
and-
watch. Yeah.
For me personally, it's given me a whole new appreciation of birds I took for granted before.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you do start really paying attention to their behavior, you see the personality, you see the deliberateness, you see the playfulness. They're often in twos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Cardinals, especially. I know we've got a pair of
Yes.
cardinals in our backyard that will show up for a dinner date every night. Like you see the patterns too, right?
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Let's talk about your feed. I asked Ryan to send me some of the photos so we can you guys will have an idea of what we're talking about, because on your feed you've got some incredible, you're very talented. Very talented. And I'm not saying that because we're friends. You really do have a
Appreciate
gift.
it.
And some of these birds are just incredible. You'll know them by name better than I will.
Sure. Yeah.
Let's start. You have one that's standing on a sign. It looks like a graffiti sign
Yeah.
of some sort.
Yeah, so that's an eastern phoebe, and that one is very common around here, and you can identify it by sound pretty easily because it says its name. So you'll hear it, it'll go Phoebe.
Aw.
Yeah, and so that one's, once you are able to hear it and recognize
Yeah.
it, you'll hear it all over. And what's fun about them is they're a type of bird called a flycatcher. And so they'll stand out prominently, like on that sign, and look for bugs, and
Wow.
then fly and get them, and then return to that spot. So they're also really good for photographing because they'll return to a spot, so it gives you several
So
chances to get a
patience.
good picture. Yeah.
Well, I love this. Honestly, it looks like the bird's looking at the sign and contemplating, what is this I'm standing on? You have another one. I love painted buntings. I've only seen one in my backyard once.
Yeah.
And it was a very quick appearance, and it flew off. You've got a shot on here. It looks like from a distance.
Mm-hmm.
And you caught the bird with its singing.
Yes. Yeah.
It's just beautiful.
Yeah, and that's another one. That's one of those birds that, for me, you know, I've been in the San Antonio area for 15 years now, and painted buntings have been here this whole time.
I never knew.
Never knew about them. They're one of the most beautiful, colorful birds in the country.
It's like a rainbow of colors.
Yeah, and they're fairly common in the spring and the summer. You could go to any city park even, and once you recognize the call, you can find them. And they're out, a lot of times, if you hear them, they're going to be out on a branch singing, easy to see, but you got to know to look for it.
They're
right?
just beautiful.
Yeah.
Another one that is in our very area that I think is stunning are the orioles. I have a neighbor who, they have a swimming pool, and she has lots of hummingbird feeders up and whatnot. And it's like being at Mary Poppins' house.
Right.
Because all these birds come hang out, and she
Yeah.
has a lot of orioles,
That's great.
and they are gorgeous.
They're
You've got some
beautiful.
great
Yeah.
shots in here
so
too.
they'll come in. Right now is actually a really good time for Baltimore orioles to be coming
Mm-hmm.
through. And I remember, like, as part of my birding journey, like within that first year, seeing an oriole in my backyard for the first time, and it feels like, I don't like.
It's
It's-
exciting.
yeah,
It's
it's
an
like-
adrenaline rush.
Yeah, it feels
I
like
know
you
that
don't
sounds
belong here. Why are
strange.
you here? But it is an adrenaline rush. Like
Yeah.
there's something. Christian Cooper is a well-known bird watcher out of New York City in Central Park, but he has 7 joys of birding, and I could pull them up. I don't remember all of them off the top of my head, but the last one is called the unicorn effect, where there's birds where you read about them, you've heard about them, you see them in books,
Yeah.
but then you see it in person, and it's like it's stepped out of a fantasy world.
Yes.
And it's like a unicorn stepping out of the woods, and
It
is
is.
like
It's
an
like
adrenaline
something
rush. Yeah.
coming out of a
Yeah.
storybook. Yeah, they're amazing. And one of the first birds too I got really into in my backyard were the yellow bellies.
Oh, the
I call them yellow bellies, but
is
the
this
finches, right?
Oh, yeah, the goldfinches.
The goldfinches,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, they are so cute.
The males have such a striking contrast to the black back and the yellow belly.
Yes.
Yeah, like seeing them and appreciating them. Yeah, it's just beautiful to look at.
Some of the others, I want our viewers to get to see as many of your bird pictures as possible
Yeah.
because they are just so gorgeous. We were on a shoot with you somewhere, maybe, I forget where we were, maybe we were in Houston, but you had some dramatic shots of these birds. It reminded me of what you would have seen artwork for Game of Thrones, you know?
Right.
Were they grackles?
It was grackles, yeah, and this was out in Port Aransas.
Okay.
And they were just fighting to the death in the mud. It was really intense. We kind of gathered, like a crowd gathered around them, watching them.
Whoa.
And just, yeah, intense and a little disturbing.
What were they
even, yeah.
fighting? I mean, do you know, why would they be?
You know, at that point, I don't know. Yeah. And this was very early on, and so I might have known better if I had learned more.
Well, I will tell
at
you,
that point.
the other thing I love about your feed, yes, the photos are just beautiful, but you always, it's one of the feeds, I don't scroll just to look at the pictures, I like to read the copy because you know what the birds are, you tell us what the birds are, and you share some of the most beautiful insights into the birds.
Yeah.
It's great information.
Yeah, no, that's one thing I enjoy doing is being able to share the information because it's stuff that interests me a lot.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of being able to share that and hopefully get other people interested.
Well,
yeah.
you have totally pulled me in. Some of the other things, and I guess I identify these because they're backyard birds and they're easy to get to your own backyard, is hummingbirds.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I could spend hours watching hummingbirds.
Yeah, they're incredible. Everything that they do, the way they fly. Yeah, I just learned the way that their tongues work. I learned that today.
Long.
Yeah, and then they're forked, and then the way that they get nectar, like just the physicality of it, allows them to grab like droplets of the nectar, like in this fork of the tongue, and then they do that 20 times a second. So like you can't even. I couldn't imagine.
I didn't know that. Well,
right,
I go to, if you guys haven't discovered Wild Birds Unlimited, I highly recommend you do because the people that work there are so knowledgeable and they're very passionate about birds as well. But he convinced me to go to these. I had my hummingbird feeders were the kind that are long, you know, and a round bulb at the bottom. You've probably seen them. He said, try the flat ones because you'll have more visual surface space that you can see the birds. And I was concerned that the hole for the bird to get its beak through was too far from where the nectar would be.
Yeah.
And that's when he said, no, you don't understand how long those tongues are.
Yeah, no, they are, yeah. And I've got some fun pictures with the tongues out, and you can see it's almost like the length of the entire like bill and head.
It's wild, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they're cute. They're often in pairs. Yeah. And they're very playful.
Yes, they're very territorial as well.
Yes, they get mad.
They do. Yeah, they'll drive others out if they don't want them there for sure.
You've got one in here, and it's just gorgeous. It almost looks like its tail is fanned out with the pink throat.
Yes, so that one was out up in Washington State around Seattle. So that's an Anna's hummingbird, which we don't have here often. Sometimes we'll get rare that make their way over, but that one's more common on the Pacific coast, and it's beautiful. Yeah.
What are some of the birds, since this will air, in September? What are some of the birds we should be looking for now?
Yeah. So so now in September, migration is just starting to get started. Fall migration. So birds are coming from the north back down south, and so that starts with flycatchers, which is my struggle right now. Like I said, I've been doing it for 3 years. I don't know how many years it takes to really get the flycatchers down because they all look alike. So that's this month's challenge for myself.
Your goal.
To figure some of those out. So those are coming through. And then warblers are starting to make their way through. And one thing I really like about migration is the way that it almost blocks off the year because it's so predictable. And with the warblers, yellow warblers are starting to come in right now. They'll come in first, and then Nashville warblers will come in, and then orange-crowned warblers. And it's almost like clockwork, the way these
Wow.
things come, and they help mark the time in a way that connects you with nature, I feel like.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
so definitely the warblers are really a treat because they will only come through for the most part during migration, and definitely the rarer ones. And they're just, I think of them as just like jewels in the trees, these bright yellow, really beautifully patterned. In the spring, they're really beautiful. In the fall, they have a different plumage where they're a little more dull, which makes it more of a challenge because they look more like.
Yeah.
But that's it's worth kind of looking into some of those and catching those. And like you said, orioles are also coming through right now too.
So this is a good time. Someone
Yeah.
told me that a good way to get orioles is to put orange peels
Yeah,
or orange
oranges.
wedges
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, so they enjoy oranges and fruit, and
Isn't that
so
funny?
yeah, I know. Which
I
you
just think
wouldn't
that's
expect,
wild.
right?
You told me when we looked at your shot that was so dramatic, what I call the Game of Thrones
Right.
shot, that grackles are really kind of an interesting bird. We all think of them as the birds you want to cover your head.
Right, yeah, the
when
parking
they're
lot
flying
birds,
over.
and yeah, I think what I like about grackles is they kind of, like I mentioned, people know they're one of the species that people know, but I don't think they look close enough to see that they are really beautiful birds. And I love the story, kind of the history of grackles, and I like to tell this because it was an Aztec emperor who loved beautiful birds, saw them. They were like lived in a valley, brought them into town, told all his people to feed them and welcome them into the city. And from there, grackles like learned to acclimate to people and
Whoa.
to like all sorts of environments, and they just spread like crazy from there.
Oh, they spread.
I know. So the reason we see them everywhere in parking lots, we can thank the Aztecs for that.
Oh, thank you, I think.
No, but they're beautiful. They're iridescent. They have
Yeah,
blues and purples that you don't always
When
see.
you have some photos in here that
Mhm.
I was stunned to find out that's a grackle.
Yeah, and there's also I've got a really beautiful photo, I think, of a European starling, which is another one. If you're in a parking lot, if you're at HEB
Yeah.
and there's a bird in the parking lot, it's probably a great-tailed grackle or a European starling, which are the smaller ones. But
Okay.
the same thing, beautiful like rainbow iridescence, and they interesting calls. So just if you take the time to pay attention, just even in the parking lot, walking
You
up to
can see.
HEB, there's beauty there that people miss, I think.
In terms of bird intelligence, because the phrase bird brain, I mean, it's a line we've all heard all our lives.
Right.
And the more I've gotten into this, I think that's the absolute wrong connotation given to that phrase. You
For
know,
sure.
a bird brain, when you start paying attention to these birds, they may have a small brain, but it in no way is the equivalent of their intelligence, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And certain species, crows in particular,
Yeah.
parrots, they score equal to dogs on like capability tests.
Really?
Yeah.
A crow?
Yeah, crows. And crows I've heard are as intelligent as a 4-year-old. Like,
Really?
yeah, as a toddler.
And as we
and
know,
they can solve
those of us
puzzles.
who've had kids,
yeah.
those 4-year-olds are
Yeah.
pretty smart.
Right, yeah. And they recognize faces and they hold grudges.
Really?
And they teach their grudges to their offspring.
Really?
Yeah, so there's some interesting stories and studies out there where crows are very smart. Yeah.
Whoa. Wow. Well, one of the things if you do get into birding, I think getting at least one good bird feeder
Yeah.
is important. And I will go a step further because when I first got into it, I was buying my bird feed at the grocery store, I won't say which one, and on Amazon. And my life changed when I started buying good bird seed. And again, I got to say Wild Birds Unlimited, but pay attention to the quality of bird seed you get, right? It really makes a difference.
Yeah, yeah, it does. Birds know what's
They
good and what they
do.
like, right?
They're snobby in that
yeah,
sense.
yeah, they are. And on a similar note too, like change it often, clean your bird feeders often.
Same with the hummingbirds.
Yeah, and the hummingbird feeders for sure, because birds know what's good and what's
They do.
like, yeah.
And you know, there's a product now, and my friends at Wild Birds show me that when your hummingbird feeders are supposed to be cleaned like once a week. I don't always make that because of work and whatnot, but
Right.
there's a product you can use just a tiny bit and drop it in when you mix up the
Yeah.
sugar water, and it helps the sugar water stay
Keeps
fresher
bacteria,
longer.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I'm assured it's not anything that harms the birds.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
But your life will change because you will get more birds. They'll
Mhm.
come more frequently.
Yeah. And yeah, I would say like getting started is as easy as getting a bird feeder, and then a
Yeah.
pair of binoculars does wonders, because just being able to see closely, the amount of detail that you can see with the pair of binoculars and how that kind of opens up the world
Oh, yeah.
is huge. Like I mentioned, it goes from small bird, medium, big bird to, here's your black-crested titmouse, here's the
Right.
Carolina chickadees. Yeah, just all this variation that I think of it almost as like suddenly having like seeing in 3D for the first
Yeah.
time. Like you see this
I
world
agree.
around you.
I
Yeah.
agree. As you're talking, I'm sitting here loving this. This is the most beautiful setting. What a gift to get to be out here. Here we are, and there are literally leaves falling around us, and it's like, wow, it's very early September. This doesn't happen in South
That's true,
Texas.
right?
But it's just beautiful. And these places, your interest will be such that you'll start seeking beautiful spots like this. And all
Oh,
of us, whether you're in Houston, Austin, San Antonio, the Hill Country, wherever, these places abound, right?
Oh yeah, people think that nature is something out there, right?
Right.
But nature is all around us. Like you have your backyard, but also, like I mentioned, almost any city park, even in the heart of the city, you can go and you can find painted buntings. You can
Botanical
find-
Center in San Antonio is a
Oh,
good
botanical
example.
gardens. It's
Botanical
a beautiful
gardens.
part, especially at migration.
Yeah.
If you're looking for warblers, it's a great place to go.
I'll never forget. So I talked Ryan into taking me there one
Yep.
day, and we met over there one morning. And because of you, I have the right binoculars now.
Yeah.
And we met there, and you were so sweet and patient. And I could tell you were surrounded by all these things, and you knew what they were, and you wanted the chance to just dive in. And yet you were trying to, I was like an albatross around your neck. You were trying to help me and teach me. And I felt so bad because I thought he would give anything if he could ditch me and just run off.
No, like I said, I
was
love
so
teaching
fun.
people and sharing because it is such a source of joy for me. And so I jump at the chance to share that joy with people.
Well,
And
I
so-
am absolutely loving it. Let's talk a little bit about the equipment because,
Yeah.
like I say, in your own backyard, it's great. You'll just enjoy watching hummingbirds come, and they'll come close to you. Those can be placed pretty close to your home.
Yeah.
They'll come. But once you add that binocular aspect,
Mhm.
a lot of the birds are hidden in the leaves, right?
Yes.
You
Yeah.
can hear the sounds. And I highly recommend an app. Merlin?
Yes, so that was another big part of, I think, why more people are getting into birding.
Yeah.
And also what helped me get into
Me
it.
too. You
and
told me about the app.
Yeah, in the same way that binoculars kind of help open your eyes to the different types
Mhm.
of birds around. The Merlin app, especially with its sound identification,
Yes.
it opens you up to the different sounds that
Yeah.
are around in the bird
If
songs.
you haven't used
Yeah.
it, you literally turn on the app, hit the record button, and as you're hearing the birds out here, it starts listing the birds and it shows a photo of what you're
Mhm.
hearing. It's a great way to learn the birds,
Right.
and then you can dive deeper if you want to know more
Yeah,
about
there's
them.
a lot of good information on there beyond that.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Show us the binoculars you like because
Okay, yeah, the
they
ones-
really did change
Yeah,
my
so
bird watching.
the ones I'm using now, I think the important thing is the numbers on here. So these are 8x42s.
Uh-huh.
So the first number, the 8, is the magnification. So it's 8 times magnification.
Okay.
And then you're able to see the birds, but also keep them in view because they often move so fast. You want to be able to track them.
Exactly.
And so that's the important thing.
I wish they had a device where it was the binocular and there was a camera device in the binocular, because so often you see these birds. There
Right.
is no way
Yeah.
I can put a binocular down and grab a phone and capture what I've seen in that.
So yeah, my setup currently is I've got a harness that I'll wear that I can put the binoculars on, and then I've got my camera here. As I got more and more into it, it helps that I come from kind of a video background. and
Right, you were a
so
photographer before.
so I've got this big zoom lens. So I carry both because the binoculars are good for tracking the birds and seeing in brush because they're going to be behind leaves. They're going to be
Right.
behind sticks and twigs. So it's good for getting that ID. What's most helpful for me with the camera, I get nice pictures when I can.
Yeah, you get amazing photos.
But it's helpful then to take a picture and take it home, get a close look with the flycatchers that I'm working on right now. I'm studying the pictures and comparing them to like guidebooks, and it's nice to be able to see that and kind of get a closer look, because some of these birds are hard to tell apart.
So,
Yeah.
as far as cameras go, a beginner's camera is fine, right? I mean, you're not using a big fancy camera.
Yeah, so this is a pretty popular one. This is a Canon EOS R7, which is pretty popular. It's not the top of the line, but it's good for wildlife.
And when you guys see his photos, you'll see, I mean, you
does
don't
great.
need a very expensive
I mean,
camera.
It's up there for like wildlife, but it's when I started, I started with an old DSLR camera that definitely was not top of the line. It was about a decade old, and that got great pictures too. That's what got me started into it. Yeah,
I'm a big believer, and there's always a new model of cameras, and yes, the technology gets good, but you know what? Some of the old ones are really good too.
Yeah,
especially for something like this. Any other advice for people wanting to get into it?
I think
into birding.
Yeah, the biggest thing, like I said, get a pair of binoculars, because that really kind of opens your eyes to seeing, these treetops. How many feet high are these? Being able to see up there. So that's a big thing. Like you said, you can get started in your backyard. That's how I got started. And just all it really takes is appreciating the diversity of species that there are. And I've got a list for my backyard list of birds that I've seen back there. And I think it's up to close to 50 types of birds that I've ever seen back there.
That's
so
a lot.
Things show up.
Think
I know,
about that in your backyard.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect.
You're in the city. So
Yeah. And so it's not, there's more back there than you expect. So like I said, bird feeder, binoculars, there's resources. Cibolo Nature Center here is a great place to come out. And Bear Audubon of South Central Texas, they do workshops, they do bird walks, and they're all very welcoming to new people. And so they're good to connect with, to learn more. And there's nothing more helpful, I think, than going out with someone who can tell you what to look for.
Yes.
Because the more you learn, the more you learn behaviors, and you learn different, like where to expect, like this bird you can expect to see on the ground, or this bird you can expect way high up in the trees. So getting started, it's helpful to have someone that can kind of tell you that.
You've been helpful to me with the buntings. I'm still looking, but up in the trees, they like to be above it all.
Yeah, if they're, especially in the spring, like they're out there singing, trying to find mates, and so if you can hear it, there's a good chance that you can see it. If you look hard enough.
It's just wonderful, and I think you're right. I think COVID taught a lot of us, there was a lot of silver lining to that very challenging time, and a lot of it was slow down, be quiet, and just pay attention. There's so much beauty all around us, and for me personally, when I'm having a really stressed day, feeling like I need more time, it's been very therapeutic to just stop and take time to go outside.
It is.
Give 10 minutes to watching birds, and it really reframes perspective, right?
Yes, there's so many quotes that have really become favorites. I know it's hard not to get distracted.
I know, they're just so beautiful.
But there's a quote that I really love right now from Julia Cameron, and it's the quality of life is proportional always to the capacity for delight, and the capacity for delight is the gift of paying attention. So
I love that.
Yeah, just, since I've started doing this, paying that extra attention and being quiet, for 10 minutes has just increased this capacity for delight and these moments of magic that take place.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I could not agree more. It just brings a sense of tranquility and that all is well. You know what I mean?
It does, absolutely.
It does. This feels so funny. It feels like we're doing an NPR segment.
Right? It very well could be, right?
It very well could be. But we're happy and upbeat, right?
We are, yes. This is, like I said, I love talking about it.
This has been so fun. I want to plug my friends because I love the guys at Wild Birds Unlimited. They are a wonderful resource and a great place to start. There probably are others out there too, but I love Wild Birds. And thank you for agreeing. We've been talking about doing this a long time. And I wanted to share it's Birding with Ryan.
So it is.
I feel so involved in your life. You've changed the name.
So it's on Instagram. It's Good Day Birding.
Yeah.
And I've just barely started a blog. That's goodaybirding.com. and it's titled "It's a Good Day to Go Birding,"
I love it.
because every day is a good day to go birding.
Every day is a good
Yeah.
day to go birding, and it's a great way to get your kids involved as well. You have a daughter, and I know she's
Yeah.
starting to kind of get interested in it
She's-
as well.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's a wonderful family activity, frankly.
It is, yeah. It's so easy just to go, like I said, to a city park, or if you want to go to state park,
Yeah.
and just take a hike and notice things. Yeah.
I agree. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Everybody get out there, enjoy it. Nature is
Yes.
so amazing and beautiful. Hope it brightens your day today. Have a good one, everyone. Get social with us. Follow us on Instagram at Goodtaste TV.